everyone. Ashley Shaw here, founder of Business Bootcamp and the Fitness Leader Institute. I just want to jump on super quick. I'm about to go live with Crush It Nation with Kim and Jamie Fitzpatrick. And before I did, I just had a really important message for you guys. We did our first social selling mastery call today, and from some of the feedback I'm getting in the group, I have a bit of a sense of what a lot of coaches may be feeling out there right now. And I wanted to address it and share something that Kim actually shared with me that she teaches and talks to her coaches about. So the general feel, I think, for some coaches out there is I'm putting myself out there, but I'm not getting the engagement. And I don't really love small talk, and that's just not me. It's not authentic, but people don't really want to join me, and I'm not sure why. And so I want to explain to you guys one thing about this is that the whole process of social media, you are still building relationships. It's not that you put a post out there and somebody pulls out their credit card and buys from you. Even when you get to the big leagues, like, people will follow you for a certain period of time to determine if you can serve them with value or if you can't. And then once they trust you enough, then they will decide that they can buy from you or that they can't. And I just see that there's some, I think, just general frustration out there that you want it to happen quicker and you want it to happen faster. And you see some people out there that maybe it is happening quicker for, and then you're like, well, what are they doing that I'm not? Well, here's the thing, like, what we're not taking into account here is that maybe that person already has a network of people that, when they first started, all their network was into fitness already. So they signed them all up. Well, you didn't see that, did you? Right? Like, you just assumed that they were doing something much different, and that's why they got those people in their downline right away, right? The basis of any selling is serving. You have to show up and serve your people. There is no shortcut to that. If you do not do that and you're just expecting to sell through social media, you are the hey girl, which, like, just trying to be real here, like, people don't want that. People want somebody that can offer value, that can teach them something new they don't already know. So when Kim the other day to me said, I tell my coaches every day, would you want you as your coach today? Like, if you are showing up and not bringing value to the table, would you want that coach? No. And that is a really, I think, honest question that we need to ask ourselves. Instead of being worried about instead of being worried about the sales component, stop worrying about that and focus on showing up to serve your people. Because when that happens, serving is selling is serving. Like, it is a continuous feedback loop that you need to put your sights on instead of trying to just focus on selling on social. It will always come across as salesy and inauthentic if that is the only way that you're trying to gather people in. Because when you can build a community, and this is, again, another thing, if you guys haven't listened to that episode with Kim, she talks about that. I asked her, like, what are you doing now? What are you doing differently in your business? And she said, honestly, not a lot, but I am still showing up in my free communities. I am still making sure that I'm showing up for my audience and being human with them, like, just asking them, like, how are you? How are you doing? So just an important lesson, I think. Sometimes we got to get out of our head, stop focusing on the short-term game. This isn't a short-term game, serving people in health and fitness. It's not that you serve them, they buy your product either, and that's over. Like, this is a continuation of how you continue to show up how you continue to bring value, and ultimately, like, what do you keep investing in yourself with your own personal development to make sure that you're bringing that to the table and teaching people things? Because the more that you can teach them, the more that they're going to want to listen to you. And obviously, like, the more inspired you are. If you've ever been around somebody that just focuses on like the negative, you know, like, oh, this won't work because, or they like fight harder for their limitations than they do of what is possible and what they can achieve, it's like a time and energy vampire really, really quick. So the way to combat that, especially a time like this where, you know, we do, in some cases, people have like just more time to focus on development, more time maybe like without commuting, all these different factors. Use that time as energy to invest in yourself. Don't fight for your limitations or, oh, people aren't engaging with me and this is happening. A bad day is good data. So use it as such. And when you're thinking about like what you're putting out there, look at what are people actually responding to and do more of that. If they don't respond, it's not personal. You just move on and decide, how can I tweak that and get to know my audience better? Because the more that you know your audience, the more that you're going to be able to critique that language and be able to say the right things. It's not that your message isn't a good message. You're not saying it right. And that's underlyingly what the real root of all of this stuff is getting clear on how you need to say something that your audience will actually need to receive and then take action. All right, guys, I'm hopping on with their team in 2 minutes here. So thank you so much for jumping on. I hope you guys are having a great start to the week. Drop in your biggest takeaway or what you are doing in terms of showing up. Would someone want you as a coach and why? Like, would you want yourself as a coach today and why? What have you done to really up that level and up your game and show up for your people today? All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful rest of the night, and we'll see you next time in Business Bootcamp.